All right, we should be live. Make sure we're rolling here. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you hanging out. I heard there was some basketball thing going on tonight. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to March Madness, but okay, Super Bowl. Oh, dude, I love that Super Bowl with a U. Come on. That's a way better Super Bowl than the one that I was told was happening this weekend, I guess. But yeah, I would love a Super Bowl. I mean, to me in the past, a Super Bowl is when you combine two burrito bowls into one. That's a Super Bowl. But I guess the Super Bowl is an even better idea. I love that. Hey, Zach is here hanging out. What's up, Zach? Thanks for hopping on. JCT says, Brad, you can't go live during the Super Bowl. Why not? Who cares? Who cares about the Super Bowl? Are you watching it? Is anybody really watching it? I actually did it last year, and it was a surprisingly successful stream. And I was like, hey, I'm going for that again. Why not? Hang out during the Super Bowl. Not everybody watches the Super Bowl. I have a buddy who said that he's going to have the Super Bowl up on mute, and then he's going to have me. So I don't know if Kevin's here hanging out yet, but he's going to be here. Doc says he's engaged now. His life is over as he knows it. That's okay. That's all right. I'm pretty happy with the life that I think I'll be having. So no worries there. Doc says, call this show End of an Era. Zach says, cool disc. Speaking of discs, so I did a giveaway where it was up for the giveaway, and the person did not claim it. So I have 2 discs that I'm giving away this week, next stream specifically. I'll be posting that video tomorrow morning with details about that, but the Rolo and the will be up for grabs. And if you are a channel member, if you've paid for the kind of channel membership, you're automatically in for the giveaway. So if you are a channel member, if you become one, you're automatically entered into all channel giveaways. Otherwise, you'll have to watch that video, leave a comment, and you'll have a chance to win one of the 2 discs. But dude just says Punt Fest so far. Very interesting. Doc says, which one? Which one what? They updated the mod icon. Oh, they did. Is that a shield? Is that a little shield instead of a wrench? That's funny. You are my protectors. Thank you. Doc says, only issue with it is trying to do a search for it. That's totally fair. I've looked up the and tried to do different searches for the and yes, it does not search well on Google. Not at all. Dude just says the only giveaway I don't want to win. Oh, that's great. Matt Cook says, what's up, Brad? Thanks for hopping on. SPN says, I'm watching it right now. I hope you're enjoying the Super Bowl. I don't mind missing it. I've never watched a full Super Bowl in my life. But oh well, I don't really mind not being part of it. I don't really watch sports too much. I watch disc golf. And then the Olympics are very interesting. So I've watched a lot of kind of Winter Olympics and some Summer Olympics kind of just throughout my life. And I find them very interesting. But no, I just don't care. Personally, I don't watch it. So I'd rather be hanging out with you guys than just kind of sitting around while everybody else has a Super Bowl party. Matt Cook says, congrats on your engagement. How did it happen? So to make a very long story short, we met on a Christian dating app. And the first thing that we talked about was books, our book collections and books that we love and like reading. So our first date was a coffee shop and then a bookstore where we walked around for 4 hours talking about all the books that we'd read, that we were interested in. And then between the 2 of us, we bought 24 books, I believe, 22 books between the 2 of us. And then this last week, I proposed in her local bookstore with a ring box that is a little book that opens up with the ring tucked on the inside cover. And she was very happy. She liked the ring, and everything went great. So there's a pretty nice bookend to our kind of dating portion of our relationship is bookstore to bookstore and moving into the engagement period. So very, very exciting, very happy. And yeah, it was really great. It was really great. It was a complete surprise for her. She was expecting me to propose soon, but not when I did and where I did. So it was really great. Dude just is watching it, mostly waiting for the halftime show. BS says, congrats to you guys. Thank you very much. Doc says, who's the musical act? And it's apparently Bad Bunny and Green Day. I've heard of Green Day, mostly because of... Well, I don't remember that movie. Never mind. Maybe Rat Race. Green Day, I think, is in Rat Race. Devin says, hi, how are you? Doing great. Thanks for hopping on and joining. Doing really, really great. Appreciate you being here, hanging out with us. Doc says, good old man Doc forgets sometimes to sign up for giveaways. Oh, yes, it is good. You'll be auto-entered. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to leave a comment. You'll be good. Doc says, which one was the guy who said cool disc? Oh, yeah, between the two. I mean, obviously, a lot of cool discs, but I think it's from the kind of thumbnail of the stream between the Rolo and the It. Both of them look pretty cool. And, I mean, it's kind of like a max weight Halo Rolo, so it's not going to be extremely flippy as opposed to like a DX lightweight Rolo. And the It's going to be flippy too, but not, crazy, crazy flippy. I'm sure for someone like Dujit throwing really far, yeah, they're going to be massive turnovers. But to a lot of people who don't throw absolute bombs, who don't throw absolute missiles, they're going to be turnover discs that are going to be really nice. Maybe a roller for the Rolo, but not crazy. Nathan French says, congrats on the engagement. Thank you very much. We're very, very happy. Errol says, hi. Doc says, so Dujit, you do want to win a shoe. I knew it. No, he does not want to. He's not want a shoe. Devin says, I love Super Bowl. I hope you're enjoying it if you're watching, or you're going to hop back and forth or just kind of switch over to it. I hope you enjoy it. I'm sure it'll be a fun, great time. I've, like I said, never fully watched the Super Bowl. I'm not super interested in it, but I always am happy for people who do enjoy it. I know my brother and his wife and their friends have like Super Bowl bingo where they have like, different things that can pop up during the ads, the advertisements, or things that will happen in the game, stuff like that. So they usually have a good time with that. Jim Budd says, greetings and congratulations. Thank you very much. Doc says, oh, she's a bibliophile. Yes. She has 1,000 books. So that was the first thing that I asked was based on her profile. I said, I respect a good book collection. How many books do you have? And what are some of your favorite books and authors? And she had just reached 1,000 books in her personal book collection at home, like a month before. So now she's at 1,012 books, and I don't know my exact number, but I know I have at least 300 books myself. So it's going to be a pretty rational union. It's pretty great. Devin says, love the hair. Thank you. Appreciate it. Doc says, that's so cute, man. Congrats. Thank you. Thank you. I know. Super adorable. That's just us. Dude says, almost 4 weeks of no proper rounds, driving me crazy. Luckily, some 40 to 50 degree days. That's good. In store this week, maybe some rain. Need the snow gone. Yes, that's way too long to wait for a proper round. I get it. I lived in Michigan for 25 years. I wasn't playing disc golf, but I was playing soccer. I hated it. So I hope you're able to get back out there and enjoy your life again sometime soon. I did hear about some warm weather coming through, kind of the like Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, New York stretch across the United States. So hopefully that hits you well enough and you'll actually get back out there, be able to play. Dude just says, yeah, I need it. It needs it to go. It needs to go. Doc says, good luck for the warm weather. Yes, need the warm weather. Auto Angel says, I like blue green. Pretty. Yeah, it has some really great colors. 100%. It's really nice. It's kind of crazy that somebody won it and didn't claim it. Like somebody won the It and then never responded to my YouTube comments, never responded to my YouTube posts. They never reached out to me, so I couldn't mail it to anybody. So it's back on the market. Good luck. There will be a video dropping tomorrow morning. Check in on that video to leave a comment and make sure that you're subscribed to have a chance to win one of the 2 discs. So leave that comment on that video tomorrow. So watch out for that one. And I will be giving it away live on stream next week. Doc says, Dujit uses a tilt as his flippy driver. Tilts are not flippy, in case you didn't know. Dude says, make that a trail and you've got it. That's great. That's great. The trail can be a flippy driver. Now, I have a trail. Excuse me. I have a trail that is not super flippy. Like, it's a pretty straight trail, and I like it. It flies well. It's a good disc. But then I threw a fission trail that somebody got, and it was a flippy. Like, I put it into a cut roll immediately. I was like, "What is this thing?" And I know that some people say the trails have a ton of variety in their level of flippiness and stability. That some of them are wildly flippy, some are more neutral, but almost none of them are actually kind of like stable, really, to overstable. I think I got one of the closer to stable ones in my neutron trail that I have because it's fairly in the middle and it doesn't flip like crazy. For me, I'm sure some people can turn it over. I mean, I watched Albert Tam throw my Simon Lizotte Simon line, and it was soul crushing to see how far that went and how much he turned it over. But mine isn't super flippy compared to other trails. Spiritual Awakening says 67. I don't know what that means. I've never heard that meme before in my life. Doc says favorite authors of hers. Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, a couple of the classic all-time favorite authors. We bought the Princess Bride to commemorate our engagement. We bought that 30th anniversary edition of the Princess Bride. It's very cool. On the side of the book, it says "As You Wish," in like the side of the pages, and it's very cool. And we got that to commemorate. That's one of the books that she very much enjoys, and of course the movie. Let's see some of her other favorite authors. It's Lee. I'm gonna mispronounce the last name. It's like Bordeaux or whatever. The Six of Crows and Shattered Kingdom, Crooked Kingdom, which is what it's really called, that I'm reading, are really good. And that's one of the authors that she really likes. She really likes too many authors to list in a format, but she likes a lot of fantasy books like me, and a lot of kind of the Christian romance books as well. So we have quite a bit of overlap in what we enjoy reading and some variety throughout it. It's been very fun to kind of compare book collections. Kevin Galloway says, "Cap on you owning 300 books." Kevin, I own over 120 biblical commentaries, let alone just books that I have, period. So you can find out. You can come see them. They're all in the boxes in the closet right now, unfortunately, but I 100% have at least 300 books. No doubt. Doc says, can't have too many books or too many discs or too many trips to Taco Bell. Amen, amen, and amen. I think you were really onto something. That's probably the wisest sentence that Doc has ever typed in his entire life. Tyler Kirk says, melting emoji. Jim Butt says, my son and I had a wonderful VIP experience at Disc East on Saturday this year. Highly recommend. I heard good things about the Disc East. I heard there was some interesting tech that they were trying to reveal, and that they were like people were having a great time and meeting a bunch of the pros who were there. So I'm sure that was really a blast. What in particular did you really like about the Disc East? Doc says, did you get to meet Ben Kenny? Dude says, I did try to get out yesterday with a friend, shoveled the tee pads, but still pretty slick. Did bring the temp basket out for some shenanigans. So there you go. That's how it's done. That can be a lot of fun. Setting up on top of giant snow piles. Doc says, dude, at my back porch, which I usually leave in the way that I usually leave and come in, was iced up because it's in shadow and the ice was kind of hanging over and dripped on it. Yeah, that's gross. Hopefully Wednesday you can get back out. Snow is about all gone. Yeah, mostly snow is gone around Charlotte. It's better in South Carolina. Pretty much no real snow anywhere. But around Charlotte, it was cold today comparatively for what I expected it to be. I expected it to kind of bounce back from the winter crap of the last few weeks. But it's supposed to be like 70 on Tuesday. That's really nice. I'm really happy about that. What a World says, how did you get into this? So as far as disc golf or streaming disc golf, I played around with my brother, and he kind of taught me how to grip a disc, which I had played frisbee and was used to kind of like tossing a disc. But he taught me how to get a finger gripped on the rim of the disc or a few fingers gripped on the rim to actually generate speed and spin rate when you throw a disc. And as soon as I actually got a good throw of the disc and watched it fly through the air and go far, I was like, oh man, this is really fun. So I really enjoyed playing the golf format where you're trying to get to the basket in as few throws as possible and make it into the basket, trying to get par or birdie. And I just fell in love. I moved to Florida a couple of months later, realized that I could play year round instead of Michigan, where life sucks for 7 months. And I just played multiple times a week for the last 4 years. I've been competing in tournaments, and most of these discs, I didn't actually like buy them. I got them in tournaments as a player's pack, as a prize. People gave them to me because they think that I could, benefit from having them, or I used merchandise credit from my tournament winnings as an amateur to snag more discs. I have a few off camera as well. So I have pushing 300 discs at this point in my collection. Doc says, I saw that one. A dude says, LOL. Doc says, sliding on cement is not fun when you're old. That's fair. That's very fair. Dude says, speaking of Taco Bell, the chicken cantina burrito is my new favorite item. That sounds pretty good. I don't tend to go for the spicy, but I know that the cantina is not like super spicy or anything like that. But I appreciate their flavor, and I'm sure that you really like that. I just saw the caramel churros, caramel stuffed churros that they're dropping. About to have some churros. I mean, I don't think anything can beat out the Cinnabon Delights in dessert perfection, but some churros might give it a good run. Doc says Crooked Kingdom looks good. Wonder if she's read Joe Abercrombie. I don't know. Never heard of Joe Abercrombie myself. Yeah, the Crooked Kingdom is the second book in the duology of Six of Crows, but it's the author of the Shadow and Bone trilogy, as well as several other books that take place in the same universe. First Law, Age of Madness, Half a King. Yeah, I haven't heard of these. These aren't books that she owns. I can tell you that because I looked through all 1,000 books yesterday. So I can tell you that she does not own those books. But I couldn't tell you if she's ever heard or read them. Heard of or read them. Dude just says, I saw VIP Boca signed by Barella, Holland Handley, and Macbeth. Highest bid was $55 on Facebook. Attempted to put 70. I mean, just that the fact that it's a Boca is it's worth 60, in a sense. So yeah, that's so funny. Only 55 is kind of surprising to me. Doc says, I like the mini taco salad, just not the dressing on it. YOLO. It's probably 120 by now. It might be. Yeah, I mean, I need to. I've been very busy, understandably so. Need to get my disc review of the Boca app because I have the Boca and I want to give it away. I want to get rid of this thing. I want one of you guys to own it. But I need to make that disc review. And I just have not had the time. Dude just says, just ordered Jawbreaker Flex Luna. Yeah, he just spent. So not about to bid on the Boca. Probably wise. Doc says, imagine if Barnes & Noble did a disc golf tournament and you won disc golf credit. I might enter that one. Oh, that'd be awesome. That would be awesome. Yeah, that'd be a fun little crossover. I'm not sure how many disc golfers are actually literate, but I'm sure there are a few more of us than just me. And Doc. And Dujit. Doc says, bought some putters off Whatnot myself. They're still spending on Whatnot. Crazy. Steph says, Taco Bell talk. I just saw one of the Euro pros talking about the number one thing he was excited about the American tour being Taco Bell. That is amazing. Man after my own heart. That's hilarious. That's really, really great. Steph says, congrats on the engagement. Thank you very much. We're very happy. Very excited. Steph says, I want it. You want the Boca? It's a good disc. Doc says, win equals read. Zach says, Super Bowl, fun, except I have to hold the cord. Like you have to hold the what cord? Like the antenna to make sure you get signal? Are you on antenna duty? I don't know if you still have antennas these days, but maybe holding the cord up to the laptop or something. Doc says, the Boca, what's the flight numbers? Dude just says 7601. I think that's right. I'm not sure. I think that's right. Doc says, disc golf in a van or playing plenty of time for the pros to win. Are you talking about reading? I'm a little bit lost. Win equals read. Okay, that's what you're. Got it. Yes, the book is the new Simon Line disc. 7-speed might grab one. It's a good one, but you're gonna only find it for $60 plus. So they are not cheap. They are not cheap. Also, Kevin Galloway donated the bokeh to the channel for the disc review. So shout out Kevin. And Kevin, I have not had any time to make the review. I'm so sorry. It'll happen, but it has not happened yet. Not at all. Zach says yes, holding the antenna so you get signal. Dang, dude. It's a rough life, but a sacrifice that I'm proud of you for making. Dude says Gannon-Burr already on his way to an undefeated season after winning the Memorial. That's a good start. That's a good start. That's fun. Dude says 51 under is crazy even for a 4-rounder. Yeah, that's averaging almost 14 down. 13 or 14 down on every round. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. Now the Memorial, is that where AB started with like a 17 down last year and then he won by quite a bit, I want to say. Not taken away from Gannon, but yeah, averaging 14 down is pretty nuts. That's pretty nuts for anybody. Kev Galloway says, can you get me the new cap wrap confetti? Anybody want to give that to Kevin? I certainly can't. Doc says, look, I'm talking books and discs. I'm excited, okay? Totally fair. I totally get it. They're two of my favorite things to talk about as well. You could probably throw in the Bible and then video games in there, and it'd be the top 4. Just kind of hanging out together. And, of course, Taco Bell, number 5. Yeah, there are definitely a lot of books out there to talk about. It's kind of hard to pin down. I mean, I have a couple of favorites, but it's like once you get past generic kind of favorites, the kind of books that I love that are really at the top of the list can really span several different genres, and they don't really have like the exact same feel as the other books. There's quite a variety in books that are just really, really good. Dice Heiser says, congrats, stud. Thank you very much. Does the future wife disc golf too? So she had never played disc golf before, but we've hit the course twice. So we've played 2 rounds together, and it was her first time. She got a birdie in her second round and is mostly throwing Soul, Paradox, and what was the other one? Gosh, I cannot remember. It's a flippy. It's similar to a Soul. It's like the flippy. Gosh dang, I think it's Discraft. But anyway, she's mostly throwing a couple of flippy mid ranges and some putters. Got her putting with Wardens already, and we had a great time. She definitely isn't like obsessed with disc golf or anything like that, but she's enjoying when we go out to play rounds together. And then she's filmed for one of my tournament rounds so far, and then a couple of practice rounds as well. So we enjoy getting outside and getting on the course together. But no, she hasn't been a disc golfer. She doesn't have disc golf experience or anything, but we have a good time. Doc says, Dice, she is willing to film him play. That's true. Dire Wolf says, no way a disc golfer. What's up, brother? Heck yeah, man. Definitely enjoying the sport and appreciate you hanging out with us during the Super Bowl. I know a few of us are chilling here. Some people, like Kevin, are hanging out watching both at the same time. I appreciate you dual streaming. Dice says she sure has a nice. Yes, she does. It's been a very fun joke for us to, after the first 2 times that she kind of talked after something that I did on camera, and some of you like Doc and Steph started commenting about it. It's been a fun running joke for us to intentionally have her say nice or to kind of make different comments after I make a birdie of the day. And it's been a lot of fun. We've had a lot of enjoyment from the channel and from your comments when you guys are catching on to what we're doing and kind of responding to it. So we've had some really fun engagement with you guys. Steph says, no, she is a top-notch caddy. Nice. She is a top-notch caddy. It's true. Doc says, me makes a note to send Mrs. Birdie a judge. LOL. Diceizer says, a good cameraman is hard to find. Not surprised you put a ring on it. Heck yeah. She is very hard to find and a very good camera woman. Doc says, the real reason. Direwolves has been throwing for 20 plus years. Heck yeah. I played tons of frisbee growing up, so I've thrown frisbees or discs for 20 plus years, but I have not been into disc golf for 20 plus years. 4 years, but I've been very like laser focused and competitive, playing in the amateur division and competing in Am Worlds this last year, and then shifting over into the professional division back in October. So that's been pretty fun. I play in Charlotte, North Carolina, where there's a ton of disc golf and a ton of competition, but the good thing is tons of tournaments to play in as well. So that's been really, really fun. I love the sport, but comparatively, I'm definitely one somewhat newer player, for sure. 20 years is impressive. Diceizer says, can't let a good filmer get away. Kevin says, when's your next tournament? Next tournament, week after Valentine's Day on Sunday, the 23rd, 22nd. I'll be playing at Scrapyard, actually, so I'm really looking forward to that. Home course, so hopefully I have a home course advantage. But the problem is that my brother will also be playing, and it's his home course, and he's played it twice as much as I have, so we'll see what happens there. But I do feel pretty confident about placing well at Scrapyard, so I'm excited for that tournament. So that one's coming up in a couple of weeks. Diceizer says, LOL, oh yeah, my ears perked up immediately the first time I heard a female voice in your video. That's really great. I can think of 2 other times. Actually, my mom visited around Thanksgiving a year and a few months ago, and she said something in the background of one of my videos. I don't think anybody commented or anything, but that got on the channel. And then one of my sisters said something after doing some filming for me a while back, maybe over a year ago as well. But other than that, yes, I really haven't had the female voices, in the background. So some of you caught on pretty quickly when you heard it consistently and kind of figured out what was going on. Oh, I think I left my Xbox on. Oops. And I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb, so I want you guys getting those notifications coming through. All right. Do Not Disturb. Oh, okay. Doc says, hopefully next year she'll be ready to do some Valentine's Day couples tournaments. That'd be really fun. That would be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'd love to try to do something like that. Dude just says you got to play doubles tournament with her. Heck yeah. Yeah, we would have a great time. I mean, it'd be a lot of fun. It would just be, hanging out and having a fun round, but it would be awesome. That's going to be a good time. Kevin Galloway says, left-hand, backhand, can't hang with you. I really want that to be the truth, but I know that he is still a little bit better than me. So we'll see what happens. Dice says, oh yeah, Doc already diagnosed my 2 big problems. Doc already diagnosed your 2 big problems. Oh, I missed your comment earlier. I skipped a few on accident. Direwolf says, congrats, keep grinding. Appreciate it. Dice says, got a tech disc. Love it. Heck yeah. And yeah, already diagnosed your big 2 problems. Okay, that's great. Doc says, backhand and forehand. LOL JK. It's pretty good, Doc. That's pretty good. Direwolf says, you live in a great area for golf, that's for sure. Absolutely. 100%. Love the area. Tons of courses, tons of tournaments, tons of great events, tons of competition. It's all awesome. And I've really, really been blessed to be here. I've only been here for a year. 3 years in Florida, 1 year in Charlotte, but it's been sweet. The Chain Reactions team is really great. Nolan runs excellent events. He always has packed tournaments. Does a great job with merge payout for amateurs and good payouts for the pro players. Man, it's just you really can't ask for a better place than Charlotte to compete in. Diceizer says, bingo, Doc. Backhand and forehand. Uh, Dude says one thing I did notice during the snow round was on the rare shots off of dry land, my form felt slightly smoother for my stretching. So guess that's working. Heck yeah, that's really great. Yeah, hopefully that long-term stretching really does pay off and that you have more um, flexibility and smoothness. That would be really great. Doc says, wait, check, make sure not her, we can wait. I don't know what that means. I don't know what you're saying. I can't read that. Dude just says we gotta have a Mrs. Birdie Time cameo on the stream sometime if she's comfortable. Yeah, we'll see what the future holds. We talked a lot about her potentially ever being in front of the camera, and she's definitely kind of along the lines of we'll wait on, putting stuff on the YouTube for now, but maybe after the wedding there will be, a better level of comfort in that potential. So maybe eventually, but won't happen too soon. Doc says, nah, she should remain a mystery. More fun that way. She'll be a mystery for a while at least. Dice says, Brad, I hope you thanked God for her low standards. Worked out for you. I suppose it did. I suppose it did work out for me very, very well. Zig says, are those frisbees behind you? These are disc golf discs. So different for sure from a frisbee. So I've got myself an ultimate frisbee disc here. And yes, they're technically in the same kind of family, but we all have that weird uncle or cousin. We know they're a little bit different. And so we've got disc golf discs as opposed to the frisbee, which is intended to be tossed and caught. Disc golf discs are designed for distance and speed. They are not for catching. They hurt. So disc golf, designed to be played on an 18-hole course with baskets where you're trying to get par or better on every hole to play, a good round and get yourself under par, throwing as few shots as possible before you make a disc into the basket. So similar in some ways to ultimate frisbee, where you're throwing the frisbee around, but of course disc golf you're playing by yourself or you're competing alone against other people, maybe on a team of 2 or 3, but those situations are more rare and less common than just playing with your own score. But definitely a really fun sport. I've loved getting into it, and now apparently having a big collection, not even a massive collection, but more discs than I need for sure. Doc says, LOL Dice. Doc says, the weight check to make sure it wasn't her when your phone went off. Oh no, it wasn't her. No worries. And she knows I'm streaming. We were talking just before I started the stream, and I'll call her when I'm done. So no worries. She is happy to make sure that I'm not interrupted while I'm streaming. Zig says, okay, cool, thank you. Dice says, you didn't, for the love of everything sacred, you didn't propose on a disc golf course, did you? It's already hard enough for a disc golfer to get a girl. And Doc says he did it in a bookstore. In a bookstore with a book ring box that opens up and had the ring tucked in the front cover. Our first date was in a bookstore. We went for coffee and then went to a bookstore for 4 hours. And then I proposed in her local bookstore that she had been kind of wanting to and waiting to take me to for several weeks. So it really worked out with perfect timing, and it was a great surprise because she had brought up going, and I suggested what day, which is when I was hoping to be able to propose. So it was really her idea that we were going to the bookstore. When we did was my suggestion, and then I was able to surprise her with the proposal. So it was very, very cool. And it's a really cool bookstore. There's this really awesome, near the entrance, there's this huge book arch where it's an archway, and then the book spines are all lined up in an arch when you walk through. It's very cool. And 2 rolling ladders, which are, of course, top notch for a bookstore. Doc says we all thought it would be a Taco Bell. I was very self-controlled. I have a Taco Bell sauce packet that says, will you marry me on it? And I did not involve that in the proposal at all. So I think that I deserve an award for being self-controlled because I definitely could have made that happen. I've been holding on to that for a month, but I did not pull that out when it counted. Di says, well done, young man. Well done. Thank you. It's very good. Doc says, big question. Is she a new bookstore girl or a used bookstore? Used bookstore, for sure. Absolutely. Our first date was in a Second and Charles, and so there was a lot of like $4 to $6 books. Great condition too. Second and Charles is like high quality used books. And then her local store is mostly has mostly new books on their shelves. But when she travels, her and her friends and family will often uh, seek out the local bookstores and see what used bookstores are in the area, kind of check them out and see what they have to offer. So that has contributed to her owning 1,000 books. A lot of those were gently used books that she found at used bookstores. And I, as well, prefer used bookstore for the most part. Occasionally, it's nice to know that something's going to be in stock, of course. But for the most part, I want to just wander around, recognizing some books and seeing books that look interesting. I love judging a book by its cover and saying, this looks really, really interesting. I think I'm going to look into it and kind of glance inside the book, see if I might be interested in reading it. I very much love that because sometimes you just see a book that catches your eye and it turns out to be fantastic. And that happens a weird amount, like actually quite often, most of the time. I have a good feeling about the cover and it ends up being a good book. Occasional misses. Occasional misses. Doc says I know we all thought it would be at Taco Bell. I don't know if I read that one already or not, but it's still making me laugh. Dice says, LOL Doc, with this burrito, I thee wed. Zig says, nice dude, thank you. Dice says, I've only seen book ladders in movies, usually involving wizardry. They're very cool. They're just so convenient. They're so charming. I don't know. It's just something really nice about being like, oh, I want to see that book. And you just pull the ladder over and then you climb up to see it. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. They're very fun. They weren't super, super tall because the store isn't a massive building that it's in. But it's you still got shelves that are up there, hard to reach or too high up to reach, except maybe Dujit snagging those books with no problem. So the rolling ladder wasn't really much more than like 6 feet, but still really cool. Really awesome. Doc says, I'll send you another dragon for not doing the Taco Bell sauce pack. Thank you. I appreciate that. Wow. The YouTube post that I made and all of your guys' comments were a lot of fun. We read through most of those comments together, and she was laughing at a lot of them. Oh, gosh. Zig says, congratulations. Thank you. Rackle says, how did a Taco Bell sauce packet saying, will you marry me, just naturally occur? Yes, we got Taco Bell, and it was one of the ones that we happened to grab. And so we laughed about it, of course. And then, of course, I pocketed it and kept it. And she kept one that said, you're so my type. And we've kind of been hanging on to those for a while. But yes, I've had it, but I self-controlled, didn't use it in the proposal. But it may show up for Valentine's Day. We'll see. Hopefully I didn't just give that surprise away. She's probably listening. Doc says, dang, is her mom single? JK. She's not. She's not. Her parents are great. I've met them, been able to talk to them quite a bit in the last couple of months. And they're really nice. So it's been really awesome. They also we've technically gone on a double date at Taco Bell with her parents. So they're in. Like they're great. They're awesome. 10 out of 10. Steph says, Count of Monte Cristo is my favorite. Hey, was that Robert Louis Stevenson? I have yet to read that. I have yet to read. I've read Treasure Island, but I've not yet read Count of Monte Cristo. So that's a book that I probably need to get to soon, at some point soon. I do have a backlog of books that is very lengthy. Doc says, honestly, if you don't judge a book by a cover, we would be putting book illustrators out of jobs. That's good. That's very fair. That's very fair. And sometimes you just know like that they really care about designing a cool cover that suits the theme, the heart of the book. And you can just kind of sense that a lot of love went into this story and that it's going to be good. It's definitely laid back, but just the amount of care that goes into the Aragon series and each of the dragons that are on the covers of the Inheritance Cycle, as much as they're not really like flashy or glorious, I just love the simplicity, but the detail of it at the same time being so, I don't know, majestic to an extent without being showy. I don't know. There's something about it that just kind of catches. And then of course the font on the side makes a big difference too on the spine. Steph says you can get married in Vegas at a Taco Bell. Well, we will do it in church when we get married, but that is good to know. That's good to know. I actually knew that already. That has been in the noggin for a few years. Di says it's not the size of the ladder, it's how well you roll it. That's true. Doc says you're so my type. Was it the Diablo sauce? I don't know. It might have been. No, I think it was medium or mild. Yeah, pretty sure. Snow says you're a college kid. I was a college kid 8 years ago. I'm 30. I graduated with my degrees in 2017, technically. 3.5 semesters. Got my degrees in youth ministry and biblical studies, and then a minor in creativity. So no, I've been out of college for a while. I mean, I'm not old or anything like Doc, but I'm definitely, well past college. Well past college. Doc says reading the classics as an adult is very interesting, like how you see IMO. Oh, in my opinion, right. I never know if it's supposed to be a word or if it's supposed to be a shorthand with Doc, alliteration. Alliteration? I'm saying the wrong thing. Doesn't matter. In my opinion, racist Tarzan is, and that Dracula had a mustache. No, Dracula had a mustache. Yeah, looking back into time, seeing writing from even just 40 years ago is interesting enough. 100 plus years ago, yeah, you're going to see some stuff that, of course, does not match up with our culture today. I mean, I just watched a New Year's Eve Around the World in 80 Days miniseries with, gosh dang, is that Pierce Brosnan? Yes. Some caricatures in there. We'll just put it that way. It's really quite good. It's quite good, but it's old enough to be like, I don't think that would happen today unless it was an intentional joke. Candlelight says, Gil, congrats on the engagement. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. We're very, very happy. Very, very happy. Doc says, oh yeah, gory. Don't read Joe Abercrombie. I forgot. Sorry. Good to know. I don't mind a level of gore for sure. Like definitely fine with quite a bit of fighting and killing, stuff like that. And she appreciates some to an extent as well, but not nasty, horrifying, not senseless, but like completely off the rails violence and gore. Probably not happening. Candlelit says, honeymoon could be at Taco Bell then. I wonder if they will provide all of the meals. That would be great. Doc says, imagine if they register at a bookstore. That would be sick. Oh, don't tempt us. I may or may not write that down. Anyway, Dice says, all right, boys, if you're coming disc golfing in the rain with me, you're coming disc golfing in the rain with me. It's a Pixel EMAC Truth round. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Enjoy the round in the rain. Glad that we're coming with you. Live from the course. We need updates. Rackle says, no, you're so old, my guy. Youths. Thank you. I appreciate the confidence in my maturity. Dicizer says, I'm in my 40s and was just taking college classes a few years ago. Maybe we're all college kids. Totally fair to, there's a lot of going back to school and taking classes online and getting second degrees and masters and all of that. That's totally fair. But yeah, definitely the full life stage for me was right away after high school. It was into college, 3.5 years. Did I say earlier 3.5 semesters? I meant 3.5 years. 7 semesters instead of 8, getting through college from 18 to 22, and then I graduated. It was a one and done for me. I doubt that I'll ever get continued education. There's potential for seminary education, but I lean a little bit away from it. I really think that I'm not going to be a researcher, a linguist, a historian. So what I do is benefit from the people who have gotten there for their education and written books and I read their books and do my research and my due diligence to be careful not to be making up my own thoughts, but relying on their insights and wisdom and interpretations and building from them to present the truth. And I appreciate the work that they do, and it means that I don't have to become an expert in all of those things, which is really, really nice. Steph says, I have a handlebar mustache. Zach says, I'm new to the game and listening to you. Yes. Oracle says, no one who groans getting out of his chair every stream is allowed to have the title of anything other than Gramps. I think I am guilty of that. Doc says, we got to give Brad a disc golf bachelor party. Candlelight says, Rackle has a solid point. Okay. Great. I guess that's fair. Dice says, what denomination is the bride-to-be? Baptist, essentially. And basically, both of us are... I grew up in a Baptist church. I wouldn't say that I am like definitively, Baptist specifically. Like, I am usually perfectly fine with, well, I shouldn't say usually, with several non-denominational churches that I've gone to. They've been great. I've attended a Christian Reformed church that was really good, and I've been to some Baptist churches that are amazing, and a few that really weren't. Denominations are not uniform, but their statement of beliefs are important, and they do guide the perspective of the pastor and the leadership of the church. The church that I go to right now, Carmel Baptist Church, is really, really incredible. I've read through their entire statement of faith when I became a church member, and I really went through it carefully and read everything. It took me about 2 hours to read through their statement of faith, all of their rules and regulations for their church, rules for kind of volunteering and teaching. Incidentally, I taught today in a small group since I'm a church member and able to, fully step into roles like teaching and leading. I was really excited to do that. It was a lot of fun. I was glad to be able to do that today. Really, really appreciate, though, like everything that I read through. There's so much intention and there's so much care to properly handle scripture and be really humble in understanding and not divide, not to draw lines. So, how do I say it? To draw lines where there's clear biblical truth, but not draw lines to such an extent that you're excluding people who are Christians who see a secondary issue differently than you, and not trying to cut people off who are truly also believers. It's important to be accurate when it comes to orthodox beliefs and true understanding of Scripture. And it's important to say, we have a difference in opinion on this topic, but we're both sincerely Christians and Christ followers, and we're not going to cut each other off or hate each other because of these differences. They're not insignificant. They're much more minor differences. They're not core doctrines. It's very important to be careful in how you handle that. I grew up with a lot of people who were not careful and who would, shame me for liking Hawk Nelson, who's a Christian band that I really loved their music, and they were, pun intended, instrumental in helping me really embrace, what I believe to be true in my understanding of who God is and how that impacts my life. And they were really, really, really incredible. And I knew there were some people in my church that they would hear a drum and an electric guitar, and they'd be like, "Oh, this music is evil." And I'm like, "What? This music is wonderful. Like it pointed my heart toward Christ. It did." And it hurts me to see people drawing lines where they shouldn't be drawn. Anyway, that's a long story, but basically we're very aligned in our faith and in our values, almost to an uncanny degree, to where we will start to talk about something important and kind of expecting the other person to have a similar perspective, but have a lot of, variation in how they see it. And then it turns out it's nearly identical over and over. We just share the fundamental values, which is such a relief. It's so nice to know that, yeah, you're going to have different preferences and you're going to have different thoughts about certain things, which is great. You want to be different people. You don't want to be identical. But when it comes to the really, really important things, raising a family in faith and in values, that we're unified. And that's so, so important and so encouraging. Okay. Catching up. Doc says Joe Abercrombie isn't gory to be gory, but it's the time and place his book's taken. Okay, take place in. All right, got it. Doc says, anyone see the new Merlin show? I'm interested. New as in new that's just coming out, or new as in Merlin, which has been out for 10 years? Because it's new-ish, and I did like that show. Kevin Galloway says, Jiki is live right now. Didn't know, doesn't he know Sunday night is your time? But for real, should I get a soul since my backhand's getting better? Yes, you should get a soul. Not a Z, probably ESP soul. That'd be really good. Doc says, get two. Ever watch a discount discs on Whatnot? I have to say, Doc, most of us are not as obsessed with Whatnot as you are, which is probably good for our pocketbooks. Dude just says, yeah, the Super Bowl is 6-0 right now. You guys aren't missing much. Dice says, game. There's a game of some sort. I mean, 6-0 is a lot for soccer, but not much for basketball. Dude just says, LOL. Steph says, what's the bachelor party course? Like a dream course? Oh. That is such a good. I think I would. I don't know that I have a course specifically in mind. I think I would have to pick a course that there's a few challenging holes, but a lot of ace runs, to where I know somebody's going to hit an ace eventually. I think that would have to be what I would want, because I'd really want a course that's easy enough that somebody hits the ace and we can all just go wild and celebrate and cheer for that. So yeah, I would say. The one that comes to mind is Bailey here in Charlotte, in the Charlotte area, because it's easy enough that eventually like an ace is going to get hit. Like I've hit an ace out there in like a first shot ace in a practice round. The ace pot is always hit when the tournaments are held there. Sometimes two people or three or four people will split the ace pot. So you got to figure that with a few extra shots, one of us will ace at some point. So something like that would be a dream. But also at the same time, like, Maple Hill would be like incredible to do some crazy course. I wouldn't actually want that because I'd really want to have a good time. And Maple Hill is a different type of fun where it's like a challenging fun, a playing up fun. Look at how the pros shred this and I suck fun. It's humbling, but it's great. I wouldn't want that for like a bachelor party with the buddies. I would want a fun ace run course, I think. Zach says, what is her name? Her name is Katie. Steph says, Vanna. She is the beautiful assistant. We always thought that was funny when you were calling her Vanna. Kevin says, I haven't, Doc. You should get a soul at some point. I don't know about discount discs. Doc says, Brad, 1, terrible pun, but 2, hate people picked on you for liking them. Yeah, I mean, it's an element of religions, and Christianity is a world religion. We as believers see it different than other religions because it is not based on what you do. It is a relationship with God. It is an acceptance of the gift, the free gift of salvation, that we are in Christ instead of in our own sin, as our sinful nature that we have handed down to us from Adam. Thanks a lot for that forbidden fruit, buddy. And there is that fundamental difference of seeing religions that are based on adherence and obedience and doing the right things to kind of hope that on balance it's good enough, or you check the boxes, or you stay qualified, and that for Christianity, obedience is a result of gratitude. Because we have accepted the free gifts and repented and turned to God, we are so grateful for that, and we appreciate so much that love and that grace, that we are happy to say, yeah, like, you are in charge of my life. Like, you do make the rules. Like, you made me, you created me, and I will gladly follow you and do what you ask of me. That runs my life, and I'm so grateful for it. That brought me here. But with religions, you have things that are right and things that are wrong. And it's very important to be able to tell the difference between fundamental core things, like Jesus is God. He's not just a person. He's not just a human. He's fully God and fully man. That's very, very important to say that is true. Because if Jesus is just a person, then he is not authorized to die for our sins and take the punishment for us and to be able to forgive all of the rest of us, because he's just another guy and he wouldn't be perfect. But because he is fully God and fully man, he is capable of handling that. And he is able to conquer sin and death and rise from the dead and live in glory, unlike just a person who does not have that ability. So it's very, very, very important. But then preference gets mixed in, where someone sees a band, and I won't even criticize necessarily a secular band, but they'll see a band that's not Christian and they'll say, okay, that is, not a good godly thing. Yes, they're talented, whatever, but they're upholding immoral things. And then they'll hear a band that to them sounds similar, but their lyrics are godly, Christian, uplifting and encouraging. And they'll say, well, they're just the same thing. They have some similar instruments. Boom, they're the same thing. And you can't fool me. I know it's, just the world. And that hurts me a lot, because those bands are reaching people that they will never talk to in their entire life. They will never see them. They'll never meet them. They will never influence them, because they're not already going to their church. So it's so wonderful that somebody is creating a platform to reach them and creating music that they love to listen to with a faithful message. So that does hurt me. I have a great love for people who are very, very fundamentalist, because I grew up with a lot of them and I see a lot of the sincerity of faith. But I've also been in the position of seeing them dismiss Christians who don't look exactly like them. And I'm one of those. So it's hard to kind of hear and see that happening. Anyway, lots of comments. I know I'm behind. I will catch up. Dice says, always liked Baptist fundamental beliefs and particularly independent Baptist flavor. I know each church isn't expected to fall in line with official doctrine. There's some definite truth to that. I appreciate the, it's probably 2000 and something now, but it used to be like the 90 something statement of the Baptist statement of faith, where they don't take they don't go too far down the line in particulars. They do a really good job of recognizing core doctrines and saying this is what we believe and this is what we don't, but they're not going all the way down the line and getting really, really detailed and saying we believe exactly this, and if you have this other opinion, you're not okay. They don't do that, and I really appreciate that, because they handle the really core important stuff and allow some variety and difference of opinion and thought process on some more extraneous things that aren't core. Also depends on who defines what's core. But anyway, Dice Eisers quoting one of my favorite, maybe my favorite Hawk Nelson song to start with. Take Me Under Your Wings Tonight. Love that song so much. That was my childhood. I Drink Water says hi. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for reminding all of us to drink water. I know all of us could use some water right now. What a legend. And I didn't even see the water emoji. That's hilarious. Candlelight has a cat in the box emoji. Very cute. All right. Okay. I'm catching up, guys. I'm catching up. Sticky says, how many frisbees do you take to a normal frisbee golf event? I have about 23 discs in my bag, between drivers, mid-ranges, and putters. A couple of putters that I throw and a few that I putt with. I have about 23. And generally speaking, I'm going to use about 10, maybe 12 different discs in an event. But I'll never know if I'm going to need a disc until I'm in a situation where I need it. So I kind of have extras just kind of with me. And then, of course, if I change courses, then I'm going to use some of the same, but also a few different of my discs. So I find that on a given course, I might use 12 of my discs. But if I play 3 different courses, I might use 19 of my 23 discs. And I'm glad to have all of them just in case. That's about what I have with me. Candlelight says, yes, hydration is important. Doc says 2026 Merlin. Haven't heard of it, but yes. Yeah, haven't heard of it. Candlelight says, just proving our point that you're old, my guy. 10 years is not new. Okay. Got it. Got it. Doc says LOL and Rackle says facts. And I Drink Water says for real. Oh my gosh. Okay, fine. All of you are together in this. That's fine. That's fine. Doc says Eric and Tina Oakley might have had the best disc golf wedding ever. Yeah, I saw a little bit about that. Diceheiser says, oh, meant to tell you I got a Brave. Gets delivered tomorrow. Hope it's true to his flight numbers and fits between my River and T-Bird. I'm worried it's actually going to be like my Mall. It should be between them. But it might be flippier than the River. I don't know. It depends on which plastic you got. If you got the swirly plastic, it's probably right between. It's going to be so nice. The flippier plastic is also really nice, but it probably will turn more than your River if it's flippy. So we'll have to see. I'm interested to see how it flies. Dude just says, listen to the Tour Life episode about the Powerball sponsorship. I do like the idea of the halftime ace competition. Yeah, that's really cool. Doc says they play the tournament in their wedding attire. Yep. Kevin says, Neatman Creek for your bachelor party. I don't know if I played Neatman Creek. Is it called anything else, or is it just Neatman? I don't think I've played it. Crazy that there's Charlotte area courses I still haven't played. Doc says, yeah, dude, money is always nice. Canela says, shout out to Adam. Dice says, the forbidden fruit was at Berg. Oh, my word. Andy says, are those Frisbees? Yes, they are discs. Dice, they are not dishes. They're not plates. As opposed to, Frisbee, ultimate Frisbees, they're supposed to catch. Disc golf discs are thrown for distance and speed. They hurt. Do not catch them. They are meant for playing disc golf, 18 holes of disc golf in a full round, unlike just throwing a Frisbee around. And Andy's already gone. God bless you guys. Have a good night, y'all. Peace out. Okay. Oh, gosh. I was not there for all of that. Doc says, yeah, Dax has some Christian songs I could see a lot of people not liking, but he reaches people who might not otherwise hear stuff like that. I mean, Skillet, I've shouted out Skillet several times. And people who hear the way that he sings, just his raspy voice, will be like, oh, that couldn't be Christian. It couldn't be biblical. John Cooper has a lot of theological depth and wisdom and insight. And when the way that he responds wisely and with self-control to public issues that happen, it's really impressive. So it shows you that you really can't just surface level make assumptions. Doc says, talk about all this. Has everyone seen Leap of Faith? Have not. Doc says, LOL, modest pelican in chat reminding us to hydrate. Doc says, I'm hydrating with Pepsi. Oh my gosh. And Soup, there you go. Doc says, Ultra Monster. Oh my word, you guys. Canalise says, united in slander. Oh no. Soup, the food that hydrates. Usually having some water. I had some water at least. Doc says, I've tried it. Not a fan though. Don't get how someone could just not like water. Hey, Dice, it is this world. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I get it because I've had well water that tastes gross, and I've had well water that's really good, and I've had city water that's ugh, what is this? And some more crisp, filtered city water that's pretty good. So I know there's variety to it, but if you get a spring water from the store, I get not loving it and being like, oh, I want water, but how could you dislike water? It doesn't make sense. It's too neutral, and it satisfies your thirst. It just doesn't make sense to me. Don't get it. Dox is talking about Rive. We should see how many discs songs we can sneak into Brad's wedding. Cry Me a River, etc. Dice says the ultimate inside joke. Dude says random disc of the stream time. We'll go up here. Ooh, this one's gonna be interesting. Oh, D2 Air. Heck yeah. I got this thinking D2. It's a negative 0.53. So I said, okay, overstable. Just the fact that it's 156 grams and a D2 Air, this thing is crazy flippy. Furthest throw of my life on a bit of a downhill, but I threw over 500 feet and almost hit my car in the parking lot. Ended up 300 feet from the basket, but it just kept going. It was amazing. But yes, this D2 Air is flippy. Feels great though. I love the gumminess to it, the kind of like, it's not chalky, but the tiniest touch of like that kind of white chalky bit to the outside of the disc. Love it, actually. Just really love it, but it does not make the bag anymore. It betrayed me in an A tier. Also my fault for trying to roller. But anyway, Doc says I agree with Dujit. Dice says I third. Already done it. Rackle says we should start a count for how many times you tell people not to catch discs. Once it's 20, you earn $10 for every additional explanation. Yes, please. I would like that very much. I would have a lot of money by now. Dice says motion pass, random disc of the night. I missed all those comments, but I definitely did it. You guys are welcome. Doc says he would be richer than Gates. All right, I drink water says bye-bye. Awesome. On the way out, time to drink some more water. Dude just says I bet he's going to go drink some water. Doc says wedding song, Jordan Sparks, no air, because Brad throws max weight. Wow. That's painful and kind of good at the same time. Mostly painful, though. That's mostly painful. Doc says, Dude, got that ESPN for watching the Super Bowl. I don't know. Maybe. Speaking of the Super Bowl, how's it going? Anybody enjoying it? I have no idea what's going on. I heard the Patriots are playing. I don't know the other team. I have no idea at all. Oh, I get it. The ESP for knowing that you were going to drink water. I assumed that was about I drink water. He was leaving to go drink some water. But yes, I also drank some. Maybe Dujit was predicting that. Candlelight says, I'm sure someone in the world is watching it and knows what's going on. Probably. I do think that a few people were planning to watch it. I don't know who they are or if they have lives. But yeah, I think that a handful of people were kind of planning to tune in. So maybe they know what's going on. No idea. Well, this is a good time to re-emphasize the disc giveaway coming. So tomorrow we'll be dropping the video announcing Rolo and it that I'll be giving these away. And all you have to do, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and leave a comment on that video. Pretty simple, easy and straightforward and everything. If you are a channel member, you are already entered into the giveaway. Shout out to my channel members, Doc, Mom Has Minecraft, Jiki, and Joseph right now are my channel members holding down the fort. And Legends, you guys are supporting me and helping me to be able to continue to have the channel and run it, hopefully long term. And I'd love to just kind of stick around for the long haul. That's my plan. Really, very much would like to continue in that. There are a couple of perks for being a channel member, mainly the custom emojis that you can put that were kind of hand-drawn and digitally uploaded for the channel, as well as the disc next to your name, like Doc has the pink disc for several months of membership at this point. He's been a loyally member of the channel, and that's just kind of one of the little perks, and hopefully more kind of perks and benefits coming soon. Doc says, yeah, not a Super Bowl guy. I'm waiting for Bridgerton to come back. Stupid month wait. I'm not really up for either. Dice Heiser says, a bunch of nerds are watching it. Only nerds are into the nerdy sport of football. Nerds. Oh, great. Flying Potato says, Patriots and Seahawks. I feel like I remember the Patriots and Seahawks playing in like 2011. Let me see. Cool. Oh, 2015. Look at me, generally speaking, remembering a football fact. 2015, the Patriots beat the Seahawks. That was, what, 49? And now we're on, what, 60? You're on 60. Wow. Duck says, would be too expensive, but imagine if the wedding reception tables had mini disc golf baskets holding the flowers. That's really great. Duck says, proud of you, Brad. Thank you. Really, really appreciate it. The typing sounds are ASMR. Oh, gosh. I don't know if I could type. Whenever I type words, it takes up my attention so much that I stop talking completely. It's a real struggle for me when I'm trying to create a poll or look something up. I totally just, turn my brain off of talking and on to typing. But I'll try to get in some ASMR typing occasionally, just for you, Dice, just to help you out a little bit, just a smidgen. Let's see. Any other big news for me? Oh, yes. Oh, I did show them, I think, last stream, but I'll show them real quickly again if I have both of them. My Infinite Discs jerseys arrived, and I haven't filmed with them yet. Tomorrow, it's going to be a little chilly, but I'll get out there to film with one of them, and I'm excited to actually start dropping videos on the channel of me wearing the Infinite apparel. It's sort of still a little bit early to fully, totally embrace the sponsorship with Infinite, because the season hasn't started completely on the tour, although we have the first, the Memorial. But I'm really excited to kind of start jumping into the season and getting my content Infinite themed and kind of get that sponsorship rolling. So very excited for that. I'll grab these real quick. Ugh. Oh gosh. We've got the green here. I'm pretty excited about this. Got the Infinite logo, and then on the back, Team Infinite, as well as this blue one, which I love. I wish there was just a little less white and a little more blue, but I absolutely love it. I love the coloration, and I hope that these last me for quite some time, but I will be snagging some more to be able to kind of build up my collection and have some variety to wear in front of the camera. Very excited for that. Oracle says, why is buffalo sauce so intrinsically connected to the Super Bowl? That's a great question. Is it? I didn't know that. I thought that it was eating pizza alone. That's what was intrinsic to the Super Bowl, but maybe that's just me. Doc says, Brad, you got one of them fancy keyboards that click. The keys do make noises, it's true. I don't know if that's fancy. Tactile feedback is king. I mean, it is kind of nice. Typing on this keyboard, I actually like it more than my Bluetooth keyboard that I have. I usually use for my work and editing stuff. It's great because it's Bluetooth and I can just have it in my lap, but the keys are cheaper. So it is really nice to type on the laptop itself. It's really nice. I think you showed them the green one. That was sick. That's it. Dice couldn't remember the name. Yeah, tactile feedback. Oh, GoCav says, how do we enter the giveaway? Doc says, got to watch the video. He drops tomorrow, and comment. Yes. And be, of course, subscribed. Leave that comment. But yeah, should drop tomorrow morning. So watch out for that. It should say giveaway. So it should be pretty easy to find that video. Rackle says, ancient. I guess, maybe. Blue one kind of looks like a shield emblem. Yeah, a little bit of that shape to it, for sure. Flying Potato says, didn't you show those jerseys last live? I do think I did. Yes, I do think I did. But they're still pretty new. I haven't actually gotten them on film yet, so I haven't actually posted any of the content of me wearing them. But tomorrow I will begin that and have some. Dice says, why is it pouring rain only on the disc golf course? That doesn't even follow the laws of nature. That is a bummer. How are you doing? Are you under par? Despite the rain. I play poorly in the rain, that's for sure. I do not play well. Ugh. Dice says, the Forbidden Berg has cursed the disc golf ground. Oh, gosh. Doc says, it kind of does. Same way we can use discs to find water. Yeah, true. And trees. That's fair. That is fair. Doc says, no reason you can't be proud and keep showing them. And Flying Potato says, okay, wasn't sure if they were different ones. Yeah, no, I'm happy about them. I'm sure I won't, keep showing the same ones over and over. But yeah, they're the same two that I did show on the last stream. But yeah, so I just want to show them again, but I'll be wearing them on camera soon, so you guys will get accustomed to them. So that will be happening. I'll also be required to wear Infinite Discs apparel in tournament rounds. So I will be wearing them as long as it's not horrifically cold, which really for the rest of the year, it should be pretty much fine compared to January and last week and today. Not good, maybe Doc, but for normal people, not wearing short sleeves outside, gross. But for the rest of the year, basically, anytime I compete, it should be pretty much fine to throw on one of the Infinite jerseys. And I don't remember if they have long sleeve athletic wear on the team store or not. I mean, obviously, I can just wear something underneath, but it's going to be really nice to kind of be able to wear those in tournament and have that athletic wear represent Team Infinite. And then, of course, everything that I film with Infinite Discs apparel has a chance of earning me gift card credit to their team store, which I'm very excited about. Dice Heiser says, I sat watching the rain in the parking lot for 15 minutes, went to the bank, came back, going now in the sprinkles. Well, nice. I'm glad you can at least get out there, but it is annoying to sit around in the rain. GoCap says, still over a foot of snow in Ohio, and it sucks. Yeah. Yep. 25 years in Michigan. I get it. I hate it. GoCap says, can't wait for summer. Heck yeah, I can't wait for summer either. And it's going to be nice this week, and I still can't wait for summer. Now, can't wait for June to come and finally be here. Doc says, you got this, Dice. Doc says, ew, summer, no thank you. Doc, you can skip summer, that's fine. The rest of us will enjoy it. Phil Collins says, I like disc golf. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Disc golf is the best sport. I mean, it's just so much fun. It's so approachable, pun intended, that almost anybody can play. Very, very young. Actually, shout out to, I don't know if I have any Chain Hawks watching the live, but Chris Clark runs excellent events. And every year, the Chain Hawks in Florida, in the Alachua, Gainesville area, run this really, really great junior event. And notably, they have had Trinity Bryant and Ellie Mitling in the junior event. Ellie Mitling, of course, winning some distance throws at 17 and just some incredible distance capabilities out of her, famously eagling 18 at Winthrop a couple of years back, and just phenomenal, just a phenomenal player. And then, of course, Trinity Bryant, maybe a little bit less known, but well known around the Florida area. People around Florida really, really know her. She's at the Eagles wings, and she's officially, publicly now dating Cole Redolin. So shout out to the two of them. Very, very cool. And both of them have kind of been roughly around Florida for the winter and been at that junior event to compete in the past. And then Trinity this year, and Cole was there as well, was doing some instructing and kind of coaching and helping with that. Really, really cool. Shout out to the Chain Hawks and the kind of junior event that they run. But yes, children to very old, elderly people who are still able to like walk on their own, can get out and play a round of disc golf. It might take a while, but they can have a great time. There are some guys in Florida that I knew. I would recognize them because I was out so often, and I would see them in their group, several times a week. They're out playing disc golf together. Really, really cool, really healthy, and a good social occasion to get outside too. What a great sport. Doc says over 90 stinks. Nope, I'll take it. I'll take over 90. No problem. Better than 40. Dice says, I'm melting. Doc says, you are perfect, so I can see that, Dice. I imagine it's more of the, he's a witch, but maybe he's perfect. I don't know. Phil Collins says, I'm middle-aged, so I can't throw too far anymore. Doc says, it's not how far you throw, but how well you lie on the scorecard. That's true. That's very true. I guess that's what works for Doc. But yeah, obviously, eventually you start to lose some of that distance, but of course you can really build on a consistency in the kind of like, especially once you cross that line of going into MA or MP40 or higher, you really get that benefit from consistency because everybody's really good, but nobody really is throwing the nobody's throwing the like insane bombs, that the young man's game. But then it becomes about consistency, accuracy, and putting. Doc says, Phil, try some lighter discs. I'm sure that he does. I'm sure Phil knows his game, but yeah, it's always a good recommendation to throw some lightweight discs. They can be really helpful beneficial in getting some distance as you go up into the higher age brackets of the realm of dock, and that can definitely help. A lot of people that I kind of got to know in Florida that were older people playing love their diamonds, lightweight diamonds. Love the heck out of them. They're a good choice. They really are. Or you can try to win the it or the Rolo from me and get something flippy. The disc giveaway video dropping tomorrow. 176 gram Halo Rolo, and I do think it's pretty cool. It's a really pretty cool stamp. And then of course this it, which has a sweet stamp as well, 173 to 175 grams. So both of these two definitely flippy, not insanely flippy, but discs that work really well, kind of scaling up in age for being able to throw it without being, allowing the disc to overpower your throw. It's really the other way around. It'll fly kind of helpfully for you. Steph says, been upping my average to 330, so I'm almost 40. I'm going to get an average of over 350 shortly. Don't let your age stop you. There's definitely that level of distance that you can still maintain or still achieve getting to old age, but at a certain point, there are some distances that become impossible for your body. You're not going to be matching AB anymore. AB is just 21 or whatever. He's just going to be throwing 600-foot missiles, and I'm not going to do that at 30. But of course, you can absolutely achieve some impressive distances and very good. I mean, Johnny McRae is still throwing over 400, and I think he post heart attack he's throwing over 400 feet. He's a machine. Little ASMR for Dice there as I'm typing in Johnny McRae. Yeah, let's see. He's so good. Global Master Series 2025 and 2026, #1. What a legend. 603 career events. He's rated 1,013. He has been a member since 1995. That's when I was born. 1995, he's been a PDGA member. He's already gotten over $1,000 this year. And yeah, he plays MP50 and MPO. Oh my gosh. Goodness gracious. He's such a machine. He has won 2 MP50 tournaments this year already. It's so crazy. He's so good. He's so good. Dude just says, love summer, can't stand winter. Absolutely agree. I have to say, I do like a nice snowfall. So this last weekend, a week ago, was a lot of fun because I grew up in Michigan and I do like that kind of soft snowfall. Just covers everything. It's so light at night because all the light's reflected off all of the snow. I really do like it, but I hate how long winter lasts. So Charlotte got to experience the foot of snow or almost foot of snow over the course of like a day and a half as it just dumped out of the sky. And then a few days later, snow's gone. Sun came back and melted. So I really liked that. That was really cool because I got a kind of refresher of that kind of snowfall experience. And I got to go, yeah, it's great to have some snow. And then immediately it's gone. As much as, it's cold today, it's going to be 70 on Tuesday. Oh, so great. Just a short little glimpse of winter, a nice full little experience of it, but it's so fleeting and it's gone already. It's just a memory, as winter should be. You shouldn't have to live in winter. You should only have to remember it. I love summer, and I can't stand winter. Drags on. Steph says, I'm a cheater, 6'4" and 240. I wrestled in college, so I have that fit. I have the fit for it, I feel. That was some mental gymnastics reading the end of that one. Yeah, 6'4", that's impressive. Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of athleticism and kind of work that you put into your body that carries over into any sport, but long term into disc golf, especially if you can kind of maintain a level of that fitness and physique. I don't have any of the running endurance that I had, but I played soccer for 15 years, including college, and I did like track and cross country, and then I was involved throughout college in intramurals. ultimate frisbee, volleyball, soccer, and it just really served me very well when I did step into disc golf that I had such a foundation of athleticism in my life. And I was never like an incredible athlete in any of those sports. But when I really started focusing on and diving into disc golf, I had that foundation where my body was ready and capable to kind of start making those micro adjustments and make little strategic choices and little shifts and little changes to continually push my game forward. I'm not 6'4" though. I am 5'11", tall enough, but not disc golf bomb tall. Dude says, not dude, at summer you got bugs and worse people out there on the course. And snakes. Not a snake guy, but I do like my cobra. Yeah, summer's worth it though. Heat is worth it. It's way better. Doc says, not me. LOL drove 20 miles an hour the day it was snowing. White knuckles. Well, you're not supposed to drive in it if you're in North Carolina and not used to it. I was tempted to go drive. I was going to visit a buddy, but I was like not feeling great about leaving the neighborhood on an uphill and coming back with the downhill later in the afternoon on Saturday. And I would have been, I think, okay driving. I did not trust everyone else driving. So I'm glad that I didn't try that, didn't push for that. Yeah, I'm sure you were driving 20 miles per hour. But in Michigan, like I would drive in it for sure. Like I had all season tires and I was very accustomed to driving in the snow and nobody's on the road. So it's a really great time to go out for a nice peaceful drive. It's so like hushed and quiet and peaceful and nice to enjoy like an evening drive after a fresh snowfall because nobody's on the road. It's so quiet and it's so light out. It doesn't feel like 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. or whatever because all the lights are reflecting off the snow. Like it's really, really great. But I also hate staying in that half the snow melts. It becomes this black, smoggy, crappy, nasty stuff on the side of the road. And lasts for months and months. Negative temperatures. No, that's all crap. No thanks. Doc says, so Brad, you're saying winter is forbidden until December and leaves in March, ensuring by decree that summer lasts through September. I would say that winter is forbidden until December and lasts until January, please. That'd be great. Dice says, I'm 6 foot, 270 pounds, so quite the athlete myself. There you go. There you go. Doc says, had to work, got to pay off whatnot. Yeah, having to work on Saturday is diabolical. That not safe. That was not safe. Most places were closed. Otto says, put down the disc and put on Bad Bunny. No, I would much rather gouge out my eyes. I think I'm fine. Thank you for the offer, though. Doc says, not a Bad Bunny fan, though. His K-pop SNL skit was good. I haven't seen it. Don't care. Otto says, how many discs on that shelf? About 210 discs on this shelf. I have about 280 in my collection total, including what's in my bag, on the floor, and off to the side. Doc says, let's guess 47. JFK says, mom's fine china. Not mom's fine plastic. Well, this is a Saint. I do like the Saint. It's a nice disc. 97-1 2. Opto Saint. Latitude 64. And now I don't know where I got it. I think I got it from there. Ugh. Not great to eat off of those. Otto says, you in Michigan? I grew up in Michigan. So I grew up in Jackson, Michigan, and went to college in Grand Rapids at Cornerstone University. So 25 years in Michigan, hated the winter. I'm glad that I got out. I went straight to Florida and then kind of rebounded back to Charlotte, North Carolina. And it's been great in Charlotte. I've loved it for the last year, but I kind of miss Florida. It's just more humid, and I miss the humidity. I do. I like walking outside into a sauna. It's beautiful. Robert says, congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We're very, very happy. Doc says, Camelot song joke for Dujet. I'm getting him into musicals no matter what, unless I forget. JFK says, if you didn't laugh at that, at the Chinese flag. Okay. Very, very funny. Paul says 147. Definitely a bit more than that I don't know if it's somewhere between like 180 and 210 on the shelf, somewhere in there. I have too many off camera to know exactly for sure what's where. Auto Detroit says, me too. Are you from Detroit? Oh, I left Detroit for San Diego after school. All right, heck yeah. I was wondering if that was a reference to Detroit, Michigan. 10 years. Yep, yep. I had my brother and sister, or my sister and brother-in-law. They were in Sterling Heights for a while outside Detroit. And I had a friend in Farmington Hills area. Some nice areas out there. Some decent courses in Oakland County. I have also played I'm gonna forget. Well, I've played the D-Glow course, Toboggan, several times. I competed at Am World or U.S. Amateurs. Did not play well. And then I've played their other course on the property, and then two of the courses nearby. I'm just blanking on their names right now. I know that they're kind of a little bit like that Milford area, kind of the toward Flint a little bit more. But oh, hey, grew up in Sterling Heights. There we go. Stevenson High School. That's great. That's cool. Yeah, I visited several times. Never was there a lot, but I'm a little bit familiar with the area. That's really awesome. How did you like the Michigan winters? Doc says but someone needed you in NC to meet someone. LOL. Uh, maybe. I mean, I think it was part of meeting Katie, but we met on a dating app. She's in South Carolina, so could have had my distance from Florida to be that long, to be that far. Let's see. Alan Fess's fan says, "What's up, Doc? Miss being here. Sundays have been crazy for me." Yeah, I bet. Sundays are tough when you're busy and working. It can really get kind of nuts with the schedule. Doc says, "I get it." Yep. Zach says, "What are the discs in the bag?" Oh gosh, a couple of Enigmas, Wild Honey, FD1. I have two of those, an Echo, a couple of those, Soul Zone, just everything that I usually play with. I usually just have those in the bag. I take them on the course with me, so they're down in the garage, like they're not even in the room. And then I have a different bag with some discs I was going to throw across the water. And I have stuff on the shelf, mostly putters, and a handful of other discs. Alan says, "Congratulations again, Brad. Really happy for you. You deserve a good woman." Thank you very much. We're very, very happy, very thrilled, and really, really appreciate all of the support from you guys, all of the congratulations. Appreciate the interaction with the posts that I put. We thought it would be very funny just to put up just a couple little pictures of the ring and the Princess Bride book that we bought. And really appreciate you guys kind of jumping on and being encouraging. It's been really fun. Out of Detroit says, Michigan winter coldest ever thus season. 0 degrees for a few weeks. Yeah, my parents, sister, and her husband and children, best friend, and my other best buddy, and some other like cousin stuff, all in Michigan. So they're telling me about how awful it is, and I'm like, it's 40 here. I don't like it. It's cold. Alex says, "Hi, Brad. Congrats." Thank you very much. Just tried Discmania only. Heck yeah. That's great. I bet that was pretty good. There's some good Discmania discs for sure. I did that once with my mystery box and really enjoyed it. I liked throwing the Essence and figuring out putting with the P2, which is great. Doc says, "Mostly dragons and shoes, I think." Otto says, "Played a decent disc course at Pensacola Navy Base last year." Interesting. I never got up toward Pensacola. I didn't play in the Panhandle very much. I was right in the Gainesville area, so dead center of the state, 2/3 of the way up, unlike where I was in Michigan, in Jackson. But definitely enjoyed, I ran into Garrett Gerthy on his home course. So it was like what the heck? That was really cool. But Panhandle area, never really ended up playing much there. I went down toward Orlando, Tampa a couple of times. Daytona, played in that area a few times. But yeah, the Panhandle, the most famous course in that area is the Tom Brown. I think it's actually the #1 rated course in Florida, maybe #2 now. It's good and everything. I just never made the time to drive 5 hours to play it. When I could drive 7 hours to Charlotte, visit my brother, and play Charlotte disc golf courses here. So that's kind of just what I tended to do. Doc says, Brad, Brad FaceTimes them outside in shorts and a t-shirt. You know that's right. Doc says, how did it go, Alex? Alex says, pretty good. Heck yeah. Mostly Cloudbreaker and FD3. Okay, that actually sounds like a pretty fun balance there between the two of those. That's fun. Doc says, ever try an all animal named bag or all clear? Nobody puts a bag together like Doc. AKA wildly impractical. Nobody does that. Josh Sanders says, I heard Clash might stop producing discs. Hopefully you have backups to the Wild Honey. I'm going to have to get backups to the Wild Honey because I need that thing for the rest of my life. Yes, I need to snag a couple of copies. I don't have any right now. So I have heard that they were slowing down production, rumors that they were going out of business or getting acquired or whatever. I do need to snag a few before those get snapped up. Alan says, learn to use my neighbor's snowblower up here. It is my favorite household appliance now. Heck yeah, heck yeah. Definitely great. I shoveled snow for most of my life, and not having to do that burning back shoveling snow for an hour and 20 minutes in the cold. Oh, snowblowers are great. They are really, really great. Zach says, no, the discs in the plastic bag. Over here. Yeah, so I have a couple of discs here. We'll start with the, this one's pretty cool. This is my U.S. Amateurs disc. It has my face on it. I did not know that they were going to take our photo. So I had just, oh gosh, I think I just came from a practice round. It was kind of bad, and it was hot. But this is really, really cool. 2025 PDJ United States Amateur Disc Golf Championship, and has my picture on it. Really awesome. It's a buzz, of course. It's always a buzz. It's always, always, always a buzz. But this is a really, really cool disc. Alex, thank you so much for the floating heart for 10 joules twice. Appreciate that. Legend. Oh, gosh. Next up here, if I don't knock things over, got the Charlotte Amateur Championships. And I think this is also a buzz, but I'm not actually certain. Oh, look, it's a buzz. But this one was just last year. Wait, no. This one's 2023. This is my first time playing the Charlotte Amateur Championship. The one from last year is a Scorch, and it kind of has a stamp of everything burning down. That one was the first year that I played Charlotte Amateur Championship, and I played okay. And I've got myself a Tour Series Nate Sexton 2017 Firebird. I won this at the Eagles Wings Conference my first year, 2 years ago, my first time out of three, in an ace throw-off by hitting an ace. Very cool. And get to keep this on the shelf forever. Hopefully, one day it'll be worth quite a bit. It's worth about $100. So for my discs, it's pretty expensive. I really don't have valuable discs other than the Firebird and then these two Innova Gators from Paul Macbeth's personal collection that he donated. I won them at the same time in the same ace throw-off. Very, very cool. I should straighten those out. Doc says, yeah, you can never throw that disc. Fair enough. Alan Fan says, just used one for the first time 2 weeks ago. Cloudbreaker? How'd you end up in Gainesville? I had some family down there, so kind of moved to be closer to some family, and then, of course, happened to get into disc golf and find a disc golf community there, which is really cool, and find out that was Northside is Garrett Gerthy's home course, which was pretty cool to just run into him. Let's see. Doc says, you better go quick, man. Go quick for what, the Wild Honeys? Doc says, shoot, yeah, Infinite must know something. DD only has Wild Honeys 4% off. Interesting. Hey, Steph says, not an amateur anymore. That's right. I was an amateur for a while, but I have stepped out. I did my 1 year of the U.S. Amateurs and Amateur Worlds, and I did 2 years of amateur doubles, and now I'm done. On to the professional division. Auto Detroit says, second half going to start. Peace. Good luck. All right. Peace out. Thanks for hopping in and hanging out for a bit. Enjoy the game. Hope you have a great time. Steph says Putt Master is pro now. Alex with another floating heart. Thank you. Doc says I get using a buzz, probably always in stock and easy to hot stamp, also good for all skill levels. It is kind of like, not to call it, it's a great disc, not to call it bland, but it's kind of like the average bland of like, yeah, you can put a stamp on it because you can make a million of them. That's true. There's so many stamped buzzes, so many. The Taco Cat ones, the Laser Cat ones, Rattlesnake one that I gave my buddy. They're all buzzes. I get it. I'm not complaining, but it's always buzz. Zach says, cool. Alex says, Brad, I spent all my jewels on hearts just for you. Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. Thank you. Really appreciate that. That's awesome. Absolutely legendary. And I appreciate the celebration. Paul says, we're going to try and play in the Masters in Lake County, Florida this year. Heck yeah. Good luck in that. I hope that goes really, really well. I hope it goes great. Alex says, I agree with Doc. I already bought a cookie. Agreeing with Doc is a dangerous thing, but hopefully you are careful and wise not to agree with him in everything. Can be a risk. Paul Dantos is interested to see how the discs fly at sea level. Flippy. They're flippy. But hopefully it doesn't impact you too much. You're able to adjust to it and get used to it. Doc says, Brad, if it gets rough finding honeys, tell the fans to look in the used bins for you. That's a good idea. I might do that. John Sanders says, started bagging a Claymore, very underrated disc. I bagged a Claymore for quite some time. I really appreciated having it, enjoyed having it in the bag. Ended up shifting over to the Echo for myself personally, but I like the Claymore. It's a good one. It's a good choice. Doc says, okay, chat. Next book, Dracula or Father Brown, or Dracula tape. Is that a specific retelling of Dracula, or is that the original Dracula? Or Father Brown Mysteries. I have heard of Father Brown. Eileen Father Brown. That would be more my style, but I don't know what Dracula tape is. It's a specific tale. Okay. Eileen Father Brown, but I don't know. Doc says here a lot of people that like the Claymore. A lot of people do like the Claymore. It's a good neutral disc. A tiny bit of bite to it. It's really, really nice. Doc says, last 3 books for funny horror, so next, mystery. There you go. It's a good bounce over to it. Get some in this genre and then shift over to that. I'm enjoying the, I tend to read fantasy, and I've lately, with the Lee Bordeaux, it's really still fantasy, but it's a bit of a shift from kind of the medieval fantasy style to a little bit more modern, kind of revolutionary wartime period mixed with some steampunk. Like, it's not really steampunk. That's a bit of an exaggeration. There's just a little bit of element to it in the world, but there are like some guns, but not modern riflery, like not what we have today, of course. But maybe 1800s-esque, but a fantasy world at the same time. Very interesting blend. Very interesting blend. Doc says retails. Oh. LOL, bite to it. You sure, Father Brown? Father Brown is good. Doc says retails Bram Stoker's Dracula from the Count's perspective, presenting him as a noble figure wrongly maligned by the vampire hunters. Interesting. Alex says, does she play disc golf? She had never played disc golf, but we played 2 rounds together. We haven't had many opportunities to hit the course together. It's been kind of nasty and cold and gross. So we just played the 2 rounds, and then she filmed for me in one of my tournament rounds, and then a couple of other kind of practice rounds that I did. So we enjoy getting out on the course together. But yeah, well, once it gets a little bit warmer, I'm sure that we'll get out on the course and actually play and really enjoy it. Doc says he's getting her into it. Yeah, that's like Soulless series. It's steampunk, but steampunk is very background. Maybe a little bit of kind of that idea. Brad, she getting you into any of her hobbies? The main one that I'm kind of leaning into is looking for her book recommendations. So that started with Six of Crows and Crooked Shattered Kingdom. So that's kind of one of the kind of starting points for hobbies. Um, Really, we share reading already, so it's not much of a like adopting her hobbies so much as shifting into what books she really likes and kind of getting a glimpse into that. And then mainly really getting to know her family and meeting her like family and friends has kind of been a big thing, more so than like any hobbies that we don't really already share. We also like watching TV shows, so we've been watching Psych together. But again, that's not so much like me adopting a hobby of hers. I did watch. I will say this is kind of one thing. It's not technically a hobby, but that I kind of shifted into and adopted is watching Christmas movies. I very much tend to like Christmas, but I don't put up a tree myself. I don't have Christmas music playing. I'm not like seeking out Christmas movies. And we did a really fun thing where we would go back and forth picking a Christmas movie. So she would pick uh, uh, Christmas in Connecticut or something like that. And then I would pick Die Hard, and then we'd watch that. And we both just had a great time. We loved watching the movies. She picked some great ones, and we kind of enjoyed going back and forth with the Christmas movies. And that was fun because I just tend not to, on my own, get too much into the Christmas spirit. So it's a good balance. Alex says, who's going to predict when Mrs. Birdie Time gets her first ace? Ooh, it's a great question. I'm gonna say September. That's what I'm gonna say. We're probably not gonna get too many rounds in the next couple of months, but maybe after June we'll get in a little bit more. Doc says Psych is good. Psych is good. I've watched the whole show 2 times and a lot of the episodes 3 or 4 times. Great show. Alan Fan says if you're back next Sunday, I'll be back. God bless. In a crowded place, so can't hear you. Peace to all. Yes, I'll be back. I know you can't hear me, but I will be back next Sunday, and I think the one after. I think I have a good stretch of Sundays put together throughout February where I will be streaming. So hopefully that Sunday stream is fairly regular from now on, but of course I'm just going to have to miss sometimes. But hopefully for the most part, we're on track. Zach says, do you have an MD2? MD2. Hopefully Dice like the typing. MD2 has been discontinued. What? Check out the Maestro or the MD3. I don't have an MD2. I don't know that I've ever thrown an MD2. $4502. If it is actually like a 02, then it might be similar to my Taco, which I believe is a 4502. Let's see it. $5502. Sorry, very similar, but not quite identical. But no, I don't have one. I haven't thrown an MD2. Doc says March 15th. That'd be impressive. I mean, it's possible. You never know. But I don't anticipate an ace happening super quickly if we only play a couple of rounds a month together over the next few months. So it'll probably be a little while. If you like Psych, Monk is pretty good. I've watched some Monk. I watched through Sharona when Sharona left. I watched a handful more episodes and just didn't happen to keep going. It wasn't like the series got bad or anything. I just happened to stop watching. But I've seen a handful of the other episodes of Monk. I like it. It doesn't have the level of charm and humor that Psych has that hits well for me personally. But I like Monk, and it is interesting, and it's a different type of humor, which I like. It just doesn't really rank super high when I really like Psych and The Office and Parks and Rec and Leverage and Ted Lasso, and then Monk is great, but it's not just quite hitting on the same wavelength. But I like it. So Salman says disc frisbee. Yes, these are disc golf discs, unlike a traditional frisbee, which is meant for playing catch. A disc golf disc is meant for distance, and speed. Ugh. This one is an escape. And this one is a fairway driver, but these are not made for catching. These will hurt. These are made for distance, and they're intended to be thrown differently with a better grip to generate that speed and spin when it flies out of your hand. Wow, that flashing is terrible. Holy smokes, that's awful. That side is better. Wow, that was really bad. If you ever borrow this disc from me, just be aware that part of it, the flashing is awful. That's crazy. Ugh. Maybe I'm just getting soft, but Alex says my birthday, March 25th. Hey, that's a good choice. Dice says September of 27. I'd say September of 26. Alan Fan says Mrs. Birdie time, first ace in 3 months. If there is a punishment on the line for Brad. Oh gosh. Dice says always in favor of punishments for Brad. Oh great. Doc says if she's into cheer, Stumble is good. Very funny, like The Office meets Community. I don't know what cheer is or Stumble. Doc says, but you have to have a level of its TV stuff isn't real. I usually am fine with the suspension of disbelief is normally not too much a problem for me. I have my things that I get picky about. Actually, kind of like archery is one of the things that I get picky about. And then portrayal of like pastors and priests, stuff like that, can be just ridiculous caricatures where I'm like, this is just, or it's just so badly portrayed that I'm like, oh gosh, that's just painful to watch. But generally speaking, I'm very forgiving with it's just, TV, it's just a movie. Zach says, you gave one away. I gave away an escape. Is that what I gave away? Doc says, Alan, she does. He keeps a dragon in the back. After COVID, flashing picked back up. Yeah, but that is dynamic, though. I'm surprised to see it from dynamic because it's really Prodigy and apparently Innova lately. Cheerleader Stumble is the TV show. I don't think there's any interest there. I don't think there's any interest in it. Dice says, thrown with a better grip by everyone except Brad, who still uses a frisbee grip. Hey, I use a fan grip. I did not throw a frisbee like this, but I do not have the power grip down. It's just a fan grip for me. Yeah, I throw kind of far for an old guy. Doc says, cheerleader coach of a community college that feels like they have the budget of a Big Ten. Doc says, House of Discs is just, no, I'm not getting into that. I'll make myself sad. I think you just made yourself sad. I'm sorry. That's a bummer. Yeah, there's a handful of shows out there that are kind of good, great in some ways, but kind of mild letdowns in others. There's only a few shows that are just amazing, all the way through. Even The Office, which is well known for being the most beloved show, a lot of people don't like season 1, and a lot of people don't like 7, 8, and 9 because Michael's gone. There's still a lot of like great show, but excellent show except going on. Oh, Zach says MD2. I gave you an MD2. Interesting. Dark Ninja says, what's the weirdest disc you have? Very, very easy to answer this question. Welcome to the Oxymoron. This is not a PDJ legal disc, but you have the round rim on the inside. It can be gripped at any point and thrown. But this disc, unlike normal traditional discs, which have 4 flight numbers, speed, glide, turn, and fade, this has a 5th number, which is lift. And this disc makes itself fly nose up. So you can throw it toward the ground. You can obviously throw it too straight down, but if you throw it a little bit toward the ground, it will flatten out and lift itself up at the end of the flight. It's very hard. I haven't tried super hard, but I've tried to get like a birdie of the day. Have not succeeded. I need to actually like put some work in and make it happen. I'm sure I could. I'm being lazy. Also, I have way too many discs and not enough time. But it's a lot of fun. It's a great little disc. It actually makes a great roller, ironically. But yeah, definitely my weird one. A lot of people call it the cheese slice. Although I'm not really into blue cheese. Doc says has to be his cheese. Oh my gosh. Brad, will you do the pic of you and Mrs. on a disc as presents to people coming? Wow. That is both a great idea and definitely not happening. But that's incredible. No, we will not be doing that. But that is pretty great. We did kind of float. We had some ideation in some wedding planning, and we kind of floated the idea of like a bunch of people signing a disc and stuff like that. But we have better plans. I love disc golf, but I don't really need it to be part of the wedding at all. I would rather have books be part of the wedding than disc golf. Plus, I want it to be us, not me. Dice said I'd buy a commemorative disc. Maybe I should get on that. Doc says, oh, come on. Doc says, maybe if you have 2 receptions, one for family and second later for friends your age to really party. Well, really partying is playing video games, drinking Mountain Dew, and then going home. That's really partying for me. Dice says, if it's a fire mold, I'd have to make that happen. That'd be sweet. What would be the right mold to pick for a wedding disc? Somebody says insanity, I will be very upset. Dice says, heck yeah, what other kind of partying is there? There isn't any other kind of partying. It's just any other kind of partying is just sad and not for me. Zach says, no, you did a disc giveaway with the MD2. Oh, was that the Sea Serpent one? I think I remember it now. I have too many discs and I've given away too many. Dice says, the honor, love, honor, and obey. Oh, that's not too bad. I like that. I love honor. Doc says, ooh, special copies of Princess Bride, but you and her are on the cover. Dressed as the characters. Interesting. I hope that you don't mind me stealing. I don't know if I'm gonna steal that idea. That's pretty fascinating. Now you're thinking, Doc. Now you're thinking. All right, hit 9 o'clock. I'm gonna wrap up in a couple of minutes here. Really appreciate you guys. Had a great time. Kevin says this Super Bowl is not as great as birdie time. Love it. Doc says I'm planning this wedding. Sorry, no, you're not. But thank you for the ideas. You can submit them on the Discord. Oh, I should put in a wedding idea. Dude, can we get a wedding plan, a wedding ideas channel on the Discord? That would be great. I'm 100% up for that. Thai says, I was low-key so impressed with the book choice of the ring reveal. Princess Bride is amazing. Even better is we walked in and it was like one of the first books that we saw and pulled off the shelf. And then we saw the cover and everything. And I was like, we're buying this. Before I proposed, before she knew that I was going to propose. And so I'm like carrying this book around with us throughout it's not a big store, but while we were around in the store. And then, of course, we ended up buying it. And kind of it's a commemoration of the proposal. So yeah, we were going to buy that. And then I proposed. So it was really fitting. Really fitting. Hail Scooter Boys says, what Discraft discs do you like? Raptor and Cap Wrap, Zone. I bag those with their Discraft. I think the Athena is really good. I haven't thrown it a lot. I like the Buzz SS. I have several aces with my Buzz SS, and I just such a clean flight. But I love the Echo more. Buzz SS is very good. Those are my main ones that stick out to me. That I'm like, yeah, I love those Discraft discs. I had Hades in the bag for a while, but I lost it, and I never got another one to kind of try to replace it. Zeus is pretty good. Bag to Zeus. I couldn't remember Zeus. Why would my brain work? I couldn't think of it. Zeus, though, bagged for a while. Very good. But I just like the Enigma more. I have such a strange combination of like 9 or 10 different manufacturers in the bag, but I do have a couple of Discraft still in there. But I'm trying to think of like the equivalent to Discraft that I actually bag. do. Dice says adios. Doc says Dooge is gone but sent a message. Best man will be dressed as ROUS. Oh gosh. Zach says I think you gave it away with 5 discs. Okay, I think that must have been the Sea Serpent one. That was the MD2. Doc says get her dad some crazy big elevator shoes. Might just be time to end this. Love you guys. Really appreciate you hopping on and joining the stream. Thank you everybody who congratulated me or mentally congratulated me. I really appreciate that. I feel the support. Really love it. And yeah, it's a great year. I appreciate all of you hanging out with me. I hope you enjoy the rest of the Super Bowl. I assume it's still going because I guess halftime was not too long ago. So have fun. Love you guys. I'll catch you later. Doc says, great show. Hope all goes well with the misses. Thank you. It is going great. Peace out. Oh, I have to get up. Great. Now Rackle is going to make fun of me. Oh, gosh. Oh, how's my knee?